Put your
Where's
hands
the man
behind your
worth
back
half
now.
$1 billion?
Morris, I
Federal
didn't do
agents
this.
smashed through Vanessa Dean's door at dawn. Weapons drawn. One question
10-4,
screamed.
dispatch.
For 6 months, she'd fed a homeless
Show me
man at a bus
1023
stop.
with one in custody.
Same brown bag, same black coffee. Dawn. 182 mornings without fail. She thought it was kindness. It was surveillance. The homeless man she'd been feeding, he wasn't homeless. He was the most dangerous witness in America, hiding evidence that 17 soldiers died for. And someone powerful wanted him erased. 6:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. Vanessa stood in her apartment holding a brown paper bag, the same routine she'd kept every morning for half a year. 3 federal agents filled her doorway, weapons raised. Colonel Perry Godfrey's sidearm locked on her chest. Vanessa Dean. Where is Morris Mack? Her hand shook. The bag dropped to the floor. Morris? The man from River Street? He disappeared 3 days ago. I haven't seen him. Perry lowered his weapon 1 inch. Ma'am, that man was worth $480 million to the United States government. You've been under active surveillance for 6 months. Every morning. Dawn, River Street bus stop. Vanessa handed Morris Mack a brown paper bag. Brief conversation. 5 minutes. Then her bus arrived. What she never saw was the drone 200 feet overhead, the agent watching from the coffee shop across the street, the license plate scanners tracking every car that slowed near them. The government wasn't watching her. They were protecting Morris, which meant they were documenting everyone who got close. Perry reached into an evidence bag, pulled out something small, a flash drive, silver, generic. Morris transferred this to you 2 weeks ago. What's on it? I don't know. I never. Don't lie to me, Miss Dean. That drive contains evidence that could destroy a $500 million defense contractor. Evidence that 17 dead soldiers died for. Final time. What is on the drive? Vanessa stared at it. And then she remembered. Morris had pressed it into her hand 3 weeks ago, his voice barely a whisper. If I'm not here tomorrow, mail this. Don't look at it. Just mail it. She'd promised. She hadn't looked. She hadn't mailed it. Morris Mack was missing, and someone willing to kill 17 soldiers to bury a secret was already hunting her next. If you believe stories like this deserve to be heard, stay with me. There's more they don't want us to know. If you've ever helped a stranger, if you've ever wondered if kindness has consequences, hit that like button right now. Because what happened next will make you question everything. They didn't arrest her. That would have been easier. Instead, they made her talk. They took her to Forsyth Park. Empty. Pre-dawn. No witnesses. No cameras. Just Vanessa, Perry Godfrey, and another agent. Roderick Rowe. Silent. Arms crossed. Watching her like she was already guilty. Perry sat on a bench. Gestured for Vanessa to sit. She didn't. You're not under arrest. You're a witness. But if you don't cooperate, that changes fast. So let's start simple. How did you meet Morris Mack? 6 months earlier, March. Vanessa Dean was 22 years old, working 2 jobs, drowning in debt. Hospital cafeteria during the day, grocery store stocking shelves at night, student loans, rent, a car that barely ran. She was one missed paycheck from homelessness herself. Every morning she took the number 47 bus from Jones Street to the hospital. The stop was 3 blocks from her apartment, right outside City Market. That's where she saw him. Morris Mack, white, late 60s, sleeping on flattened cardboard near the old laundromat. Most people walked past. Some crossed the street. Vanessa did the same, for 2 weeks. Until one morning in late March. She'd packed an extra wrap for lunch and realized she wouldn't have time to eat it. Her shift ended at 3. Second job started at 4. The food would go bad in her locker. Morris was awake when she walked past, sharp eyes, watching her. And then he said something nobody else had said to her in months. You look like someone who keeps promises. Vanessa stopped, turned. Excuse me? I can see it, the way you carry yourself. You're the type who finishes what she starts. She didn't know what to say, so she held out the wrap. I made too much. You want this? Morris didn't grab it. He looked at it, then at her. What's your name? Vanessa. Vanessa, I'm Morris, and I don't take charity, but I'll make you a deal. He pulled a crumpled $5 bill from his coat pocket, held it out. You bring me breakfast tomorrow, I'll pay you $5. Fair trade. You're broke. I can see that too. Let me at least cover the food. Vanessa hesitated, then took the $5. Tomorrow, 6:30. I'll be here. She came back the next day, and the next. For the first 2 weeks, Morris paid her $5 every morning. Then, one day he stopped. You don't have to pay me. I know, but I did anyway. Now we're even. You keep coming because you want to, not because you need the money. And she did, every single morning, 6:30 a.m., same brown bag, same black coffee, same routine for 182 days straight. Morris told stories, impossible stories, about flying senators out of war zones, about testifying in closed congressional hearings, about defense contractors and cover-ups and missions that don't exist on paper. Vanessa assumed he was confused, PTSD, dementia, maybe both. But he was kind and lonely, and she had 5 minutes to spare before her bus came. Until 3 weeks ago, Morris handed her a flash drive, small, silver, sealed in a plastic bag. If I'm not here tomorrow, I need you to mail this. There's an address in the envelope. Don't open it. Don't look at the drive. Just mail it. Promise me. Vanessa took it, slipped it into her jacket pocket. Where are you going? Nowhere, I hope. Perry Godfrey leaned forward. His voice was calm, too calm. Did you mail it? No. Did you look at it? No. Where is it now? Vanessa's stomach dropped. My apartment, bedroom drawer. Perry exchanged a glance with Roderick. Roderick pulled out his radio. Send the team in. Drawer in the bedroom. Flash drive. Wait, what's going on? Who is Morris Mack? Perry stood, looked her dead in the eye. Morris Mack was a logistics officer for Titan Defense Corporation. In 2018, he discovered they were selling defective body armor to the U.S. military. Armor they knew would fail, he testified. Went into federal witness protection, and 3 years ago, he went off the grid. We lost him. Until 6 months ago. When you found him? He paused. If you've ever felt invisible against something bigger, stay with me. This gets deeper. 17 soldiers died wearing that armor, Miss Dean. 17. And the company that killed them, they're still in business, still making billions. Because we couldn't protect the one witness who could take them down. If you're thinking this can't be real, stay with me. Because the next part, it gets worse. Drop a comment right now if you've ever trusted the wrong person. Because Vanessa's about to find out she's been used. The truth wasn't just classified, it was buried, and Vanessa Dean had just dug it up. They took her to the Juliette Gordon Low Birthplace, a historic museum close to the public. Inside was a makeshift command center, laptops, surveillance monitors, and a wall covered in photos. Morris Mack, younger, clean-shaven, wearing a military dress uniform, standing next to men in expensive suits, senators, defense officials, people with power. Perry gestured to the wall. Morris Mack spent 25 years in military logistics. He coordinated supply chains for combat zones, body armor, helmets, equipment that keeps soldiers alive. He tapped a photo, Morris shaking hands with a man in a gray suit. That's Jonathan Reeves, CEO of Titan Defense Corporation. In 2017, Titan won a $480 million contract to supply body armor to troops in Afghanistan. Morris was the quality assurance officer. His job, make sure the armor worked. Perry pulled up a file on a laptop, opened a document, highlighted text. March 2018. Morris discovers the armor is defective. Ceramic plates cracking under standard ballistic tests. Straps fraying after minimal use. He files a report, recommends halting shipments. Titan ignores him. Another document. Email chains. June 2018. 17 soldiers die in combat. Autopsies show penetration wounds. Bullets passing clean through armor that should have stopped them. Morris connects the dots. He goes to the Inspector General, files a whistleblower complaint. Perry's voice hardened. Titan Defense offers him $2 million to recant. He refuses. He testifies before a closed congressional committee. And then, Perry pulled up a news article. The headline read, Defense Contractor Executive Found Dead in Apparent Suicide. My mother said nobody cares about stories like this. That I'd never reach my 5,000 YouTube loyal subscribers digging up truths they buried. But you're here. Hit that subscribe button and like this video. Let's prove her wrong together. The CFO who signed off on the defective armor, dead, ruled suicide. 2 weeks later, another executive, car accident. Then another, house fire. Vanessa's blood ran cold. You think Titan. We know Titan hired someone, a fixer, Claude McDermott, former Titan Defense head of security. After the third death, Morris Mack disappeared. Witness protection couldn't guarantee his safety. So he went off the grid. Homeless, untraceable. Perry opened another file, surveillance footage, grainy, black and white. Vanessa recognized the location immediately. River Street, the bus stop, herself, handing Morris a paper bag. Every morning, for 6 months. But now she saw what she'd missed, a man across the street, mid-40s, baseball cap, always on his phone. That's Claude McDermott. He's been tracking you for 4 months. Vanessa's hands went numb. Tracking me? Why? Because Morris trusted you, and if Claude wants Morris, he goes through you first. Perry's radio crackled. Sir, we found the drive. Bring it here. 5 minutes later, an agent handed Perry a sealed evidence bag. Inside was the silver flash drive Morris had given Vanessa. Perry plugged it into an air-gapped laptop, opened the files. Vanessa watched his face change. Anger, then disbelief. This is. He turned the screen toward her. Emails, dozens, Titan defense executives joking about acceptable losses, photos of soldiers in faulty armor, shrapnel wounds visible, and audio files. Conference calls where the CEO, Jonathan Reeves, said the words no one should ever say. If we recall now, we lose the contract. The military won't renew. Let the family sue later. We'll settle quietly. It's cheaper than losing $480 million. Vanessa's stomach turned. This is the evidence we needed to reopen the case. If this goes public, Titan Defense collapses, executives go to prison, families get justice. He looked at her. But Morris didn't give this to us. He gave it to you. Why? Perry opened the last file, a video recorded 3 weeks ago. Morris, sitting in dim light, his voice steady. Vanessa, if you're watching this, I'm probably dead, or wishing I was. I didn't give this drive to the feds because I don't trust them. I didn't give it to lawyers because they'll bury it in settlements. I gave it to you because you're the only person in 6 months who looked at me like I was still human. He leaned closer to the camera. Don't give this to the government. They'll classify it. Don't give it to the press. Claude will kill you before it goes live. But if I'm gone, if I'm not at that bus stop tomorrow, you do what you think is right. You've got a fight in you, Vanessa. I saw it the first day we met. Use it. The video ended. Vanessa looked at Perry. Where is he? Perry's voice was quiet. We don't know. Right now, you're probably thinking, what would I do? Trust the government? Go to the press? Do nothing? Comment below. Because Vanessa's choice? It's about to cost her everything. 17 soldiers died because Titan Defense chose profit over lives. 17 families buried sons, daughters, husbands, wives. And the people responsible, they walked free. Until Morris Mack said no more. Perry Godfrey gave Vanessa 2 choices. Help them catch Claude McDermott, or spend the rest of her life knowing she let Morris Mack die. Vanessa stood in that safe house staring at Perry Godfrey, and for the first time in her life, she understood what it meant to be used. Claude has Morris. We know that. What we don't know is where. But Claude will reach out to you because he thinks you're innocent. He thinks you're just a good Samaritan who got caught in the middle. I am just... Not anymore. The moment you took that drive, you became part of this. And now you have a choice. Help us set up an exchange. We get Morris back. Claude goes to prison. Titan Defense collapses. And if I say no? Perry's face didn't change. Then Claude kills Morris. And eventually, he comes for you. Because as long as that drive exists, you're a loose end. Vanessa's hands shook. What do you need me to do? They had 48 hours to prepare. Perry taught her how to lie, how to act scared but not helpless, how to negotiate for Morris's life without giving away leverage. They rehearsed at Vermslow Historic Site, isolated, no civilians. Claude will call. When he does, you tell him I have the drive. I'll trade it for Morris, but only in public, somewhere I feel safe. What if he says no? He won't. Claude needs that drive more than he needs Morris dead. As long as the evidence exists, Titan Defense is vulnerable. He'll negotiate. If this is making your blood boil, don't scroll past. Like this video so the algorithm shows it to someone who needs to see it. Comment truth if you're still with me. But the night before the exchange, Vanessa couldn't sleep. She sat in the safe house bathroom, door locked, hands shaking so badly she couldn't hold her phone. She called her mother. Mom, I need to tell you something. Baby, it's 2 a.m. What's wrong? If something happens to me tomorrow, don't talk like that. Mom, listen, if something happens, I need you to know I did the right thing, even if it doesn't feel like it. Silence. Vanessa, what are you about to do? Keep a promise. She hung up, cried, then wiped her face, walked back out. Alone, Vanessa pulled out her phone, searched for Morris Mack's name, found nothing. Searched for Titan Defense, found news articles from 2018. Whistleblower alleges defense contractor fraud. Follow-up from 2019. Investigation closed due to insufficient evidence. Recent from 2025. Titan Defense wins $620 million contract for next-generation body armor. They'd won. Again. Vanessa stared at her phone and made a decision. Before Perry Godfrey took the drive, Vanessa did something he didn't know about, something Morris would have wanted. She copied the files, every email, every photo, every audio recording, uploaded them to an encrypted cloud server, set a timer, 72 hours. If she didn't cancel it, the files would auto-release to 12 major news outlets: the New York Times, the Washington Post, CNN, Fox News, the Associated Press. She didn't tell Perry, because Morris was right. The feds would classify it, bury it, settle quietly. But Vanessa Dean? She wasn't playing their game anymore. 36 hours later, Claude McDermott made contact. Vanessa was sitting in the safe house when her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She looked at Perry. He nodded. Hit record. Hello? Vanessa Dean, you've been busy. Her blood froze. Who is this? Someone who wants what you have. The flash drive Morris gave you. I assume the feds already took it? Silence. Smart girl. You made a copy, didn't you? Vanessa's heart hammered. Where's Morris? Alive. For now. Here's how this works. You bring me the drive, the original, not a copy, and I let him go. You don't. And Morris Mack has a very unfortunate accident? How do I know you'll keep your word? Claude laughed softly. You don't. But you know what I will do if you don't show? So here's the deal. Tomorrow, noon, Bonaventure Cemetery, Oak Avenue, come alone, bring the drive, no feds. No wires, or Morris dies. The line went dead. Perry Godfrey looked at her. You're not going alone. He said, no feds. He'll kill you anyway. We wire you up. Agents in the trees, snipers on rooftops. The moment Morris is clear, we move in. Vanessa nodded, but she was already thinking 3 steps ahead. Hit the subscribe button right now if you want to see how this ends. Because what Vanessa does next, nobody, not Perry, not Claude, not even Morris, saw it coming. Vanessa Dean wasn't a spy, wasn't a soldier, wasn't trained for this. She was a 22-year-old nursing student who worked 2 jobs and still couldn't pay rent on time. But she had something Claude McDermott didn't. She'd already lost everything, which meant she had nothing left to lose. They told her to trust the plan. She didn't, because the plan was designed to protect the system, not Morris, not her. Bonaventure Cemetery, noon, Spanish moss hanging from 300-year-old oak trees, shadows thick enough to hide a dozen agents. Vanessa walked alone down Oak Avenue, no earpiece, no wire, Perry had insisted. Claude would check. So they gave her a tracker, sewn into her shoe, and a panic button disguised as a keychain. But Vanessa left both in the car. She walked into that cemetery with nothing but the flash drive, and a plan Perry Godfrey didn't know about. Claude McDermott stepped out from behind a mausoleum, mid-40s. Calm, professional, no weapon visible, but his jacket hung wrong on the left side. Concealed carry. Vanessa Dean, you came. Where's Morris? Claude gestured toward a stone bench 50 feet away. Morris Mack sat there, hands zip-tied, bruised, but alive. His eyes met Vanessa's, and he shook his head. Don't do it. Vanessa ignored him. Let him go first. Drive first. How do I know you won't kill us both? Claude smiled. You don't. Wait. Before I show you what happened next, pause and drop your prediction in the comments. Did you see this coming? Tag someone who needs to hear this. Vanessa pulled out the flash drive, held it up. Claude stepped closer, reached for it, and then Vanessa said something that changed everything. This is a decoy. Claude froze. The real drive? I already uploaded it. Every file, every email, every recording. It's set to release to 12 news outlets in 36 hours, unless I cancel it. Claude's face didn't change, but his hand moved toward his jacket. You shoot me, the files release automatically. You take Morris, same thing. The only way you stop it? Let him go. Walk away. And pray I decide you're not worth destroying. Silence. Then Claude laughed. Not a nervous laugh. A genuine, almost impressed laugh. You copied the drive. I'm not stupid. No, you're not. But you made one mistake. He pulled out his phone, turned it toward her. On the screen was a photo of Vanessa's mother, Shauna Hughes, standing outside her apartment in Atlanta, taken this morning. You cancel the release, or your mother has the same accident Morris is about to have. Vanessa's hands went numb. But she didn't look away. You heard her, and I don't just release the files. I had one more, the photo you just showed me, with your name attached, and a note. Claude McDermott, employed by Titan Defense, threatened to kill my mother. She stepped closer. You think Titan wants that headline? You think they'll protect you when the world knows you're targeting civilians? You'll be in federal custody before sunrise. Claude's jaw tightened. So here's the deal. You let Morris go, you walk away, and I give you 48 hours to disappear before the files go live. After that, you're on your own. Claude stared at her, then at Morris. You're bluffing. Try me. That's when Perry Godfrey stepped out from behind a crypt, gun drawn. 6 agents emerged from the trees. Red laser dots appeared on Claude's chest. Claude McDermott. Federal agents. On the ground, now. Claude didn't move. You brought them. No, they followed me. There's a difference. Perry moved closer. We've been listening the whole time. Threatening a civilian, kidnapping a federal witness, conspiracy to commit murder. You're done. Claude raised his hand slowly, smiled at Vanessa. You just made the biggest mistake of your life. No, I made the only choice. Agents tackled Claude, zip-tied his wrists, dragged him away. Vanessa ran to Morris, cut his hands free. You shouldn't have come. I promised you breakfast every day. I don't break promises. If you're not subscribed yet, do it now, because this story, it's about to go global, and the people responsible for killing 17 soldiers, they're about to learn what happens when the truth refuses to stay buried. Claude McDermott wasn't acting alone. He was hired by Titan Defense, a company that valued profit over human lives, a company that sent soldiers into combat with armor they knew would fail. And for years, they got away with it, until one homeless man and one broke nursing student said, not anymore. Chapter 6. Perry Godfrey thought he'd won. He hadn't, because Vanessa Dean wasn't playing by his rules anymore. They took Vanessa and Morris to a federal building on Bay Street. Separate rooms, separate interrogations. Perry Godfrey sat across from Vanessa, calm, controlled. You did good out there. Claude's in custody, Morris is safe, this is over. Vanessa didn't blink. No, it's not. Excuse me? I told Claude I uploaded the files. That wasn't a bluff. I really did, and they're set to release in 34 hours. Perry's expression changed. You did what? This is where it shifts. If you felt that, drop a fist emoji below. Subscribe if you want to see how the powerless find their power. Morris didn't trust you, neither do I. If I hand you the files, you classify them, bury them. Titan Defense pays a fine and moves on. The families of those 17 dead soldiers, they get nothing. That's not how this works. That's exactly how it works. I looked up the 2018 case. Whistleblower alleges fraud. Investigation closed. Insufficient evidence. Titan Defense wins another contract. Tell me I'm wrong. Perry said nothing. I'm releasing the files. To the press. To the public. Titan Defense will burn, and you can't stop me. Perry leaned back, stared at her. If you do this, you'll destroy any chance of a criminal case. Defense lawyers will claim evidence was leaked, contaminated. The executives will walk, or the public will demand justice, and you'll have no choice but to prosecute. You're gambling with Morris's life. Claude's not the only one Titan hired. If the files go public, they'll send someone else. Then arrest them too. Perry stood, raised his voice. You think this is a game? You think you can force the FBI's hand? You're a 22-year-old nursing student. You don't know how this works. Vanessa stood too. I know exactly how it works. You protect the system, not the people. Morris Mack testified 7 years ago. Where were you? Those 17 soldiers died. Where were you? The investigation closed. Where were you? She stepped closer. I'm not gambling. I'm forcing you to do your job. Vanessa's phone rang. Unknown number. Perry gestured to answer. Put it on speaker. Hello? Miss Dean. Jonathan Reeves. Titan Defense. I'd like to make you an offer. Vanessa's blood ran cold. $5 million. Cash. Offshore account. You destroy the files. Walk away. Live your life. 17 soldiers died because of you. And 17 families will sue us for decades. But if you release those files, you'll be the story. The girl who destroyed 12,000 jobs. The girl who bankrupted a company. Is that the legacy you want? Better than being the girl who let you get away with murder. She hung up. Perry stared at her. That was a mistake. No. That was a message? Perry made a call. 10 minutes later, Agent Roderick Rowe escorted Vanessa to a conference room. Inside was a lawyer, federal prosecutor, and a woman in a dark suit. Miss Dean, I'm Assistant Director Leslie Avila. FBI, we have a problem. Vanessa sat down. If you release those files publicly, we lose leverage. Titan Defense will destroy evidence. Executives will flee the country. But if you hand the files to us, give us 30 days, we can build an airtight case. Arrests, indictments, convictions. And if I say no? Leslie slid a document across the table. Obstruction of justice, interference with a federal investigation, you could face 5 to 10 years in prison. Vanessa read the document, looked up. You're threatening me. I'm giving you a choice. Vanessa stood, walked to the window, looked out at the Savannah skyline, and then she said the words that changed everything. You have 24 hours, not 30 days, 24 hours to arrest every executive, every board member, everyone who knew about the defective armor and did nothing. If I see handcuffs on the news by tomorrow, I'll cancel the release. If I don't, the files go live, and the world will know you had the evidence and sat on it. Leslie's face hardened. That's not how federal investigations. I don't care. 24 hours. Or I release everything, including recordings of this conversation. Let's see how the press feels about the FBI threatening a whistleblower. Silence. Perry Godfrey stood. He'd been silent. Now he spoke. She's not bluffing. Leslie stared at Vanessa, then nodded. 24 hours. If you've ever been told to sit down and shut up, this next part is for you. Because Vanessa Dean didn't just stand up, she made the FBI bend. Drop a fire emoji in the comments if you're rooting for her. Vanessa Dean was 22 years old. No law degree, no political connections, no money. But she had the one thing power fears most. She had nothing to lose. And when you have nothing to lose, you can't be controlled. 24 hours. That's all Vanessa gave them, and the FBI moved faster than they had in 7 years. The moment Vanessa walked out, Leslie Avila made 11 phone calls. FBI field offices in Virginia, Texas, New York, California, simultaneous raids, coordinated. Agents pulled files from archives, drafted warrants, called federal judges at midnight. 18 hours of non-stop work. Because Vanessa Dean had done something the FBI couldn't. She'd made justice urgent. 6 a.m., FBI raids Titan Defense Corporation headquarters in Arlington, Virginia. 18 agents, 6 arrest warrants. Jonathan Reeves, CEO, arrested in his home, $4.2 million mansion, handcuffed in his bathrobe in front of news cameras. He tried to hide his face, couldn't. Photographers swarmed. Terrence Ellis, CFO, arrested at Dulles International Airport, boarding a one-way flight to Switzerland. $1.8 million in cash found in his luggage. His wife turned her back as agents led him away. Brian Kent, VP of Logistics, arrested at his office, shredding documents, too late. By noon, 11 Titan Defense executives were in federal custody, charged with fraud, manslaughter, conspiracy to obstruct justice. Vanessa watched the news from a hotel room in Savannah, Morris beside her. You did it. We did it. But Vanessa didn't cancel the release. At 2 p.m., exactly 36 hours after she uploaded the files, they went live. The New York Times. Leaked documents reveal defense contractor knowingly sold defective armor. Washington Post. 17 soldiers died. Titan Defense knew the armor would fail. CNN. Whistleblowers' evidence exposes decade-long cover-up. Within 2 hours, the story was trending on every platform. Titan Defense. Justice for the 17. Vanessa Dean. Photos of the dead soldiers circulated. Marines, Army, Navy, faces, names, families, people. Corporal Darren Weeks, 23, killed in Kandahar. Left behind a wife and 2-year-old daughter. Sergeant Lyle Mendoza, 28, killed in Helmand Province, Purple Heart recipient. Private Antonio Keith, 19, killed in his first deployment, 3 weeks after arriving in Afghanistan. The public demanded answers. 72 hours later, Congress convened an emergency hearing. Senate Armed Services Committee. Vanessa Dean was called to testify. She sat at the witness table, cameras everywhere, senators in suits asking questions. In the front row sat Jonathan Reeves, out on bail, $10,000 suit, 3 lawyers, arms crossed, shaking his head, performative disbelief. Miss Dean, you acted outside official channels. Some would call that vigilantism. How do you respond? Vanessa leaned into the microphone. 17 soldiers are dead. For 7 years, Titan Defense faced no consequences. The investigation was closed. The executives were free. If I'd waited for official channels, they'd still be free. I didn't act outside the system. I acted because the system failed. Applause from the gallery. The chairman gabbled for order. Miss Dean, taxpayers fund the VA, the FBI, the Inspector General. Are you suggesting we fund more oversight? Vanessa looked him dead in the eye. I'm suggesting you hold defense contractors accountable. 17 families buried their sons and daughters because Titan Defense chose profit over lives. They made $480 million on that contract. The families, they got a folded flag and a letter that said, "Thank you for your service. You want to talk about taxpayer money? How much did we spend sending those soldiers to war in armor we knew wouldn't protect them?" Silence. Morris Mack tried to stop it. You ignored him. He went to witness protection. You lost him. He lived on the street for 3 years because the system that sent him into danger couldn't keep him safe. So no, Senator, I'm not asking for more money. I'm asking you to do your job. In the front row, Jonathan Reeves stood, walked out. Cameras followed him. Outside, reporters swarmed. This is a witch hunt. Titan Defense has been cleared by the Inspector General. Miss Dean is a troubled young woman who, sir, the files show. Allegedly, show. Nothing has been verified. Morris Mack was called next, cleaned up, suit and tie. He walked to the witness table slowly, sat down. Mr. Mack, why didn't you come forward sooner? Morris's voice was steady. I did. In 2018, I filed a report. I testified in a closed hearing. I gave the Inspector General everything. And then 3 of my colleagues died. The investigation was closed. I was told to disappear, so I did. He looked at Vanessa in the gallery. For 3 years, I slept on cardboard, ate out of trash cans, watched people walk past me like I didn't exist. And then one day, a 22-year-old girl stopped. She didn't know who I was, didn't care. She just saw someone who needed help. And she helped. His voice cracked. She risked her life for me, not because I deserved it, because it was the right thing to do. If this government had 1/10 of her courage, those 17 soldiers would still be alive. If this story made you feel something, anger, hope, anything, smash that subscribe button, because stories like this, they need to be told and shared. Let's make sure Vanessa's courage doesn't get buried. 17 soldiers, 17 families, 17 funerals, and for 7 years the people responsible walked free, made money, lived in mansions, while Morris Mack slept on a sidewalk, and Vanessa Dean worked 2 jobs just to afford peanut butter sandwiches. Tell me that's justice. The hearing ended, but the story didn't, because the public wasn't letting this go. Vanessa's testimony clip. I didn't act outside the system. I acted because the system failed, hit 10 million views in 6 hours. 50 million by the end of the day. Vanessa Dean trended globally. People posted photos of the 17 fallen soldiers. Tagged Titan Defense, tagged Congress, demanded accountability. Protest erupted outside Titan Defense offices in 12 cities. Veterans, military families, Gold Star parents holding photos of their children. One sign read $480 million in profit, 17 lives lost. Who pays? Titan Defense's stock price collapsed. From $87 per share to $11 in 48 hours. $3.4 billion in market value, gone. Board members resigned, investors pulled out, the Pentagon announced they were suspending all contracts with Titan Defense, pending the outcome of the investigation. That's $1.9 billion in active contracts, frozen. Defense Secretary Ramon Harding held a press conference. We will not do business with companies that endanger our troops. Effective immediately, Titan Defense is barred from all future DoD contracts. We are reviewing every piece of equipment they supplied, and we will hold them accountable. Then the families came forward. The parents, the widows, the children. Sandra Wilson, mother of Corporal Darren Weeks. My son died because Titan Defense sold him broken armor. They knew it wouldn't protect him, and they sent him into combat anyway, for money. She held up a photo of Darren in uniform. He was 23 years old. He wanted to be a teacher. He's buried in Georgia, and the CEO of Titan Defense, he's out on bail. Living in his mansion, that's not justice. Jorge Harper, husband of Sergeant Lyle Mendoza. My wife died serving her country. She believed in something bigger than herself, and the people who were supposed to protect her, they betrayed her, for profit. One by one, the families testified on national news. Congress couldn't ignore them, neither could the jury. If you believe stories like this deserve witnesses, share this video. Tag someone fighting their own Goliath. Let it reach who needs it. Public pressure worked. The Department of Justice fast-tracked the case. No plea deals, no settlements, full trial. And Vanessa Dean? She became the key witness. This is the moment where one person's choice becomes a movement. If you believe in holding the powerful accountable, drop a comment. Justice for the 17, let's flood the comments. They wanted Vanessa to stay quiet, to trust the system, to wait. But she didn't wait. She didn't stay quiet. And because of that, 17 families finally got the truth. That's what courage looks like. The trial lasted 9 weeks. The verdict took 14 hours. And when it came, Titan Defense didn't just lose. They were destroyed. Jonathan Reeves, CEO, guilty on 17 counts of manslaughter, 17 counts of fraud, 4 counts of obstruction of justice. Sentence, 34 years in federal prison, no parole. When the verdict came, Reeves stood, straightened his tie, and for the first time in 30 years, he heard the word guilty. His wife stood, walked out, didn't look back. Reeves turned to his lawyer. How did this happen? A 22-year-old girl with a peanut butter sandwich. Terrence Ellis, CFO, guilty on 22 counts. Sentence, 28 years. Brian Kent, VP of Logistics, guilty on 19 counts. Sentence, 25 years. 8 other executives, guilty. Combined sentences, 174 years. The courtroom erupted. Families wept. Veterans stood and saluted. Vanessa sat in the gallery next to Morris. He squeezed her hand. You did it. We did it. They wanted this buried. You being here, watching till now, means it's not. Subscribe, like, and share this. Let's keep breathing life into what they tried to silence. But prison wasn't the only punishment. The civil lawsuits came next. Class action lawsuit, 17 families versus Titan Defense Corporation. Verdict, $2.7 billion in damages. That's $158.8 million per family. Titan Defense filed for bankruptcy within 30 days. Every asset liquidated. Headquarters sold. Patents sold. Equipment sold. Arlington headquarters. For sale sign outside. Parking lot empty. Security guards boxing up files. Jonathan Reeves's $4.2 million mansion. Seized by federal marshals. Furniture auctioned on the courthouse steps. A veteran bought Reeves's desk. Burned it in his backyard. Terrence Ellis's yacht. Sold for $1.1 million. The buyer? Sandra Wilson, mother of Corporal Darren Weeks. She donated it to a veteran sailing program. Brian Kent's vacation home in Aspen, sold for $900,000. The buyer? Jorge Harper, husband of Sergeant Lyle Mendoza. He turned it into a PTSD retreat center. Every executive who profited from defective armor, stripped of everything. Jonathan Reeves lost $47 million in personal assets. Terrence Ellis lost $23 million. Brian Kent lost $19 million. Combined, $310 million in personal wealth. Gone. But the families didn't care about the money. Sandra Wilson stood outside the courthouse, held up a photo of her son. This isn't about dollars. It's about accountability. My son's name is on a wall now. So is theirs. She pointed at the Titan Defense logo being removed from the building. That's justice. Congress passed the Morris-Mack Accountability Act. New law. Defense contractors must submit armor and equipment to independent third-party testing. No exceptions. Whistleblowers in defense industries receive automatic federal protection. No delays. The VA established a $50 million fund for homeless veterans with classified service records, named after Morris-Mack. Titan Defense? Erased. Out of business. Name removed from every government building. The 17 soldiers who died, their names were added to a memorial at Arlington National Cemetery. A bronze plaque reads, "In memory of those who died because greed valued profit over protection, may their sacrifice demand accountability forever." If you believe justice should come with consequences, drop 100 emoji in the comments. And share this story, because when the powerful fall, everyone needs to see it. $480 million. That's what Titan Defense made selling broken armor. 17 soldiers paid with their lives, and for 7 years, no one did anything. Until a homeless man and a broke girl said enough. Don't let their courage be forgotten. The trial ended. The executives went to prison. Titan Defense collapsed. But for Vanessa Dean, the hardest part was just beginning, living with what she'd done. 6 months later, Vanessa Dean graduated from nursing school, top of her class. Morris-Mack sat in the front row, clapping louder than anyone. He wasn't homeless anymore. VA benefits restored. Small apartment near Forsyth Park. Clean, safe, his. After the ceremony, they walked to River Street, the same bus stop where they met. Someone else was sleeping there now. A younger man, mid-30s, cardboard bed, trash bag of belongings. Vanessa knelt down, handed him a brown paper bag. "There's food in here. Coffee, too." "It's not much, but it's something." The man stared at her. then took the bag. Why? Because someone once told me, small acts aren't small. If this moment hits you, drop a heart or a dove below. No words needed. Morris and Vanessa visited Arlington National Cemetery, stood in front of the bronze plaque, the names of the 17 soldiers etched into stone. Morris reached out, traced the letters of Corporal Darren Weeks, the first soldier who died. I tried to save them. You did. You testified. You went into hiding. You risked everything. And because of you, this will never happen again. Morris wiped his eyes. Because of us. Vanessa didn't stop bringing breakfast. Every morning, dawn. But now she went to Daffin Park, where she volunteered with a homeless outreach program. Fed 30 people a day, helped them find shelters, helped them apply for VA benefits, helped them be seen. One woman asked her a question. Why do you do this? You're famous. You could do anything. Vanessa smiled. I'm not famous. I just kept a promise. The final scene. Bonaventure Cemetery, golden hour. Vanessa and Morris walking down Oak Avenue, the same place where Claude tried to kill them both. Now it was peaceful, quiet. Do you ever think about what would have happened if I hadn't stopped that day? Every day. Me too. They stopped at a bench, sat down. You saved my life, Vanessa. You saved mine first. Morris smiled, pulled out a brown paper bag from his jacket. Inside, a simple wrap. Fair is fair. They split it, ate in silence, and for the first time in years, neither of them felt invisible. If this story changed how you see the world, share it. Tag someone who needs to hear it. And in the comments, tell me what small act of kindness will you do this week. Vanessa Dean wasn't special. She didn't have money, didn't have power, didn't have connections. But she had something more dangerous. She cared. And when one person refuses to look away, the whole system has to answer. This isn't just Vanessa's story. It's a blueprint. For anyone who's ever felt powerless, Vanessa's story inspired thousands. A teacher in Ohio started a breakfast program for homeless students. A veteran in Texas found pro bono legal help after seeing the news. A high schooler in Seattle organized a coat drive that collected 4,000 coats in 2 weeks. Small acts, repeated, amplified. What's one truth you're taking from Vanessa's story? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. Like this video if the lesson landed. Titan defense is gone. But the Morris-Mack Accountability Act protects whistleblowers in every defense company. Over 200 veterans with classified service records have been reconnected with VA benefits. 47 found housing. 22 found jobs. Because one person refused to walk past a man on the street? You don't need a platform to change the world. You don't need money. You don't need power. You need to see someone and choose them. So here's my question for you. Who will you choose? Drop a comment right now. Tell me one small act of kindness you'll do this week. And if you know someone who needs to hear this story, share it. Let's make courage contagious. Before you go, I need you to do something. Vanessa Dean's story didn't need an audience of millions. It needed witnesses, and you became one today. Thank you for not scrolling past. Thank you for staying through the fear, the injustice, the cost. That takes something most people won't give. You made it to the end. That means something. If this story made you feel something, anything at all, hit that subscribe button, because stories like this don't go viral by accident. They spread because people like you refuse to stay silent. Share this. Tag someone who needs to see it. Make sure the algorithm knows we're watching. This isn't just Vanessa's story. Over 40,000 veterans are homeless in the United States right now. Approximately 70% of federal whistleblowers face retaliation for telling the truth. Defense contractors spend $140 million annually lobbying Congress to protect their interests. These numbers aren't abstract. They're people. People like Morris Mack, who slept on cardboard for 3 years because the system that sent him into danger couldn't keep him safe. People like the 17 soldiers who died wearing armor their government knew wouldn't protect them. People like you, trying to do the right thing in a world that punishes honesty. Systems don't collapse overnight. They crack slowly. One exposed lie. One leaked document. One whistleblower held accountable. One nursing student who chose a homeless man's life over her own safety. The cost was too high. Morris Mack lived invisible for 3 years. Vanessa Dean risked everything for a promise. 17 families buried their sons and daughters before anyone listened. But the lesson remains. Excellence transcends prejudice. Dignity defeats hatred. Truth survives lies. Not always immediately, not always loudly, but eventually. Always eventually. Now I want to hear from you. What hit you hardest in this story? Was it the federal agents kicking down Vanessa's door at dawn? The moment Perry revealed Morris was worth $500 million? Or Vanessa refusing to give up her promise even when it cost her everything? Drop a comment. I read every single one. Your perspective matters here. Have you ever helped someone the world ignored? Has someone ever told you your kindness was wasted, your compassion naive, your humanity foolish? Comment below. Your story matters. Someone reading this needs to know they're not alone. If this story moved you, hit like. Here's why that matters. The algorithm pushes content based on engagement. Likes tell YouTube this story deserves reach. And reach is justice. The more people see this, the harder it becomes to ignore what happened to Morris, to Vanessa, to those 17 soldiers. Subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on notifications. Because next time, we're covering a black female journalist who exposed a billion-dollar military fraud only to have her source murdered 24 hours before publication. What she did next made international headlines. You don't want to miss it. The Savannah skyline rose behind Vanessa as she left the hospital that evening. The city glowed in the twilight, lights reflecting off the Savannah River. The same city where federal agents had kicked down her door at dawn. The same streets where Morris had slept invisible for 3 years. But the city didn't belong to Claude McDermott anymore. It didn't belong to Titan Defense. It belonged to everyone, to the people who refused to be made small, to the ones who kept showing up, kept speaking, kept feeding strangers even when the system tried to silence them. Federal agents saw a homeless man and assumed irrelevance. But the world saw Morris Mack and demanded better. That's how systems fall. One truth at a time, one voice refusing silence, one breakfast sandwich when everyone said it didn't matter. Every share, every comment, every conversation moves us forward. Not in giant leaps, in small, deliberate steps. In flash drives that couldn't be erased. In testimony that went viral. In one nursing student who said this is wrong when it would have been easier to stay quiet. In this channel, we don't soften the edges. We don't make injustice comfortable. We tell it exactly as it happened, because the truth isn't here to make you feel good. It's here to make you act. If today's story spoke to you, click like, join the conversation in the comments, subscribe so you're here when the next story drops. Systems only change when we refuse to look away. Vanessa Dean refused to walk past a man on the street. Morris Mack refused to stay silent. Perry Godfrey refused to protect a broken system over 17 dead soldiers. And everything changed.
It's a testament to the
what will you choose to
community
see?
we've built here, Vanessa.